Hello, and welcome to another week of the Abusecartoons Livestream. Sorry, there was a little bit of a delay this morning. I had to do some edits that I was just got informed about, but yeah, it's all better now. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, and guess we should get started. Uh, so yeah, like I mentioned in the notification, a quick cold snap. Luckily, no frozen, no ice everywhere. Nice and dry, but yeah, it's freezing cold again, which it rarely gets here. So everything is straining to keep the house warmer. And I think I talked about before. There's no central air in most Japanese houses. Things are room to room. You have heaters. So that means hallways and toilets, water closets, kind of bathrooms and everything, usually don't have heating of any kind. It's kind of like heating a closet or a garage. In the U.S., people just think you don't spend enough time in there to warrant, actually installing heat. And by the time it got warm, it would you'd be leaving. So yeah, but they also credit that to that's healthy. They credit that. They also say that going between warm and cold during the winter, like, that is good for your health. Just like cold plunges and stuff. People talk about cold showers and cold plunges. And Scandinavia definitely believes in that. You've got saunas with doors like directly open to the snowy outside, or a little lake you can jump into. So yeah, there's definitely some belief in that. So yeah, things are. I'm not sure if the newer houses, because there's a lot of modern houses that imitate more Western style design. They have like the big front door, the tall front door, the 2-story entryway. I'm not going to draw that same bunch of boxes again, am I? And the great room kind of idea, which I guess Japan has had all the time, because when you look at an ad for apartments or whatever, it will say like 2 LDK or 4 LDK, and that means the first number is usually the number of bedrooms or additional rooms, and the LDK is living room, dining room, kitchen. So I don't know why it's not Japanese words, but LDK is kind of the great room. You have one living area that also has a little place where you can put a dining table, and then that leads to a kitchen that's usually just separated by a counter or a passover kind of area, and everything is built in to that. Usually the stove and the dishwasher and everything is built into that counter. That's the very what is that? Kind of these modular one-piece kitchens do that. System kitchens, that's what they call them. It's like a giant kitchenette. Yeah, so you guys would really be amused by the size of my dishwasher. So in the system kitchens, the dishwasher is literally, it's not even, it's maybe like 2.5 foot cubically. I don't know how many, like it would be like, I don't know what that would be. Maybe like eight cubic feet or something. Pretty small. They're pretty small. So you can basically put one meal's dishes into the dishwasher if they're tiny Japanese dishes. If you have these giant American dinner plates and things, it's not going to go very well. So you're running the dishwasher constantly, but of course it uses a lot less water, but it also doesn't clean all that well either. So, hey Hardley, how's it going? Oh, thanks. Thank you. Yeah, so the dishwashers are comedically small. I'm not sure if they've actually made larger versions for these larger houses, because once you have a big kitchen, and so like for a dinner party or something, the dishwasher would just be useless. Like if you had, you know, more than 8 of each, piece of dinnerware that you had to wash, you'd have to do it in rounds because they're so small. Yeah, but that's kind of the thing that they include. I think they have like the freestanding, attach it to your sink kind of larger units here. But most kitchens don't have room for that. They're pretty tiny. And also, of course, everything, the standard height of a counter is just, like this much too low. So always washing dishes or doing anything in the kitchen, I always get a sore back because I have to kind of hunch over, like find some position to get a little bit lower. So yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. Yeah, everything's a little bit miniaturized. But yeah, so sorry if you hear a little bit too much noise in the background from the heat, but it was really frosty in this room, so which is good. I guess I won't have to worry about a computer getting too hot. All right. Yeah, let's see. I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, so hope where you are is not miserable, is not freezing. But yeah, we'll figure out. That's too bad. I had inspiration last week with Valentine's Day. Now I'm just lost. I guess I can do a post-Valentine's Day joke, if there's such a thing. But yeah, it seems to be getting... The holiday is losing... Well, just like all traditions and holidays here, people just do so much less. It used to be that holidays involved not quite the insane stress levels of the U.S. with the Christmas shopping in crowded shopping malls and cooking for days to get ready for a Christmas dinner or anything, but similar, especially the cooking part. But there doesn't seem to be the motivation to do that now. And once families lose their kind of matriarch of the, kind of organizing holidays and things, that things really decline. No one really picks up the baton and runs with it as far as making holidays a kind of, thing that everyone comes to. At least, the families that I know, the situations I know, people are, just like a lot of countries, people are drawn to the larger cities for better work. They abandon the small towns. The families are left behind in the small towns. They just keep getting older. Once they don't have small kids anymore, and once your kids have teenage kids, then they probably don't have as much motivation to come back and visit because the teenagers want their own, things, time with friends or, whatever. And nobody wants to see teenagers as opposed to babies. So it changes a lot, but that means that left behind is the older relatives in the small towns. So they're just having supermarkets close and all the convenience and shopping and things of the past just disappear, and they're left with just a convenience store and a less than good chain supermarket. A lot of the things just go away, and there's nothing to do about it because the population decreases, the business decreases, and they just close them off. And then what usually happens is to feed these like larger sprawling communities that appear either off of train lines or, when there's no train line, just kind of off by themselves on what used to be farmland. This is similar to just about every country. Then you get these places, these giant supermarkets and shopping centers and stuff that you have to drive to. And of course, if you're in your 80s or 90s, you're not driving anywhere. So yeah, it becomes a very very weird situation. And and that's the difficulty. I think China and Japan, like Asia in general, is already facing having a huge silver population, elderly population, and they also live exceptionally long because they've paid more attention to their health. So they're much more long-lived. Unless they smoked, they're living. Almost everyone's hitting 100. Almost, everyone's getting very close to 100 years old, and that is a huge problem because what do you do? They can't. There's so many things that they can't do for themselves as easily anymore, and there's no um, amount of elder care that could possibly deal with all of that. So there's much less sticking people in retirement homes or old age homes here. A lot of people try to have their families in their house and take care of them, and a lot of the times because they've always lived together. But yeah, that has its own set of challenges. Um, but yeah, it's a weird. So Asia's kind of dealing with it first, and I think other countries are gonna hopefully be able to learn from what happens here. Although the cultures are different enough, it may not translate well. But yeah, it's funny. Everyone is talking, in crisis terms. I think the Prime Minister of Japan just recently said, Japan is on the brink here of being in serious decline because of the population decreases. Hey, unknown girl, how are you? Oh, nice. Yeah, I think that's going to have to start here more. Some supermarket chains do grocery delivery, especially in places like the mountainous areas and stuff where it's very difficult to walk and carry 10 pounds of groceries or whatever. So yeah, I think that's going to start. I don't know if we have any good supermarket like online shopping, but some of the supermarkets offer delivery. Yeah, and there are some. Yeah, there are some. Yeah, there are some trucks. I see some trucks delivering. So that must be a bigger solution. Yeah, that's good. Hey, dude, how's it going? So yeah, they are gonna technology and things are gonna have to start to step up and replace some of those traditional things. But that's gonna feel like such a loss, I think, for people. And yeah, it's good that they don't have to leave their house, but it's also probably very good if they left their house for their mental health and things. So mental health and physical health, if they can still get around. And that's the other thing that's so they live longer and they're also active and mobile. Japanese people are much more mobile and active into their old age. You rarely see scooters here. Nobody is rascaling around, and there's very few wheelchairs. The people in wheelchairs are usually the severely physically handicapped. You don't see elderly people in wheelchairs or in some kind of what's the technology in the medical word for those, some mobility devices, whatever they call them. You don't see that here. Most people are walking, and it's crazy because surprisingly their bodies are very agile and they can walk very quickly, but their brains are slowing down. So you'll see them standing looking at a train schedule, and sometimes the train schedules are like in the middle of the very busy hallway or passageway in the subway system. So they'll just be standing there slowly figuring out where they're going and what train they should take, what time it is, and how long it's going to take them to get to that platform. And then just suddenly they start moving very normal speed. So it's very unpredictable if they like slowly started to move in the direction, but yeah, they just take off like they're 20-year-olds. So it's very funny, the big discrepancy between mental and physical aging. All right, just drawing the same thing again and again. Also, yeah, unknown girl says also helps with planning what you want rather than walking through aisles multiple times. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. Yeah, spending time, yeah, having to. Oh, we got to go back and get coffee filters. Yeah, that's true. Uh, yeah, very much. Yeah, right. Got to get some of that good old vitamin D. Uh, yeah, so we'll see what happens. And I think yeah, unfortunately, I don't think a lot of the stuff is going to translate well how Japan has dealt with things, because I think their pension systems and things are much more effective, because already America is talking about the default of Social Security, which is the American, retirement pension system and a nationalized pension system. And so people have been paying into it. Like my generation has been paying into it their whole working lives, and they're probably not going to see a penny from that program. So yeah, that's really really depressing. That the politicians are just, and they're using it. It's just like everything else, in America. Gun control, gay rights, abortion. It's all a political tool. They don't really care about solving a problem. They just need to be able to use it to pander to constituencies to keep getting reelected and whatever. So Social Security keeps coming up as this thing to play around with. Yeah, so I think some I think the conservatives in the U.S. Want to privatize it, which we know how well that does, because once some cryptocurrency scammer comes along and destroys everybody's money in some kind of Ponzi scheme, then that's over with. And yeah, I think the liberals in the U.S. are just for trying to save it somehow, but I think the only way to save it is just to make it so insanely expensive. So there's no really good solutions, and everything, like every government program, is so mismanaged that I'm sure it's savable if you actually were if it was monitored and spent correctly, and you reduce the amount of fraud and things. But yeah, I won't worry about that. Yeah, I already got my retirement statement for pension in Japan. It's so funny. Yeah, just like living here long enough and being a spouse of a Japanese national, you're in the pension system. Like they automatically are, telling you what you're gonna get, and it's based on you, because I haven't been here that long. It's nothing. I don't think it would be anything to survive on, but it's something. It's amazing. That that the system is working, to protect everyone, not letting people fall out. It's very funny. Yeah, it's very, very interesting. But also, Japan has done a pretty good job of making it hard as hell to live here as a foreigner. They make it very unattractive for anyone without the language skills. So that means most of the foreigners here are Asian. They can already read the language, the shared alphabet. But as far as there's not huge groups of and Japan doesn't take refugees. They're really, really, we're so small. It's such a small island. There's not much we can do. So when we have these, like Europe has taken the bulk of Syria and Ukraine and all the refugees, and Japan is just sorry. Yeah, they don't do a lot. But that has also helped them, not destroy their national insurance and pension systems. All right. How about a vinyl joke? Yeah, that disc-like pillow makes me think of a vinyl record. I'm pandering to my older readers on Go Comics. Okay. Yeah, I guess just drawing it a little bit more. Yeah, just drawing it a little bit more 3D might help, instead of just making it a oval. Get that balance between the size of the nah, I don't know. That doesn't look very nice. Maybe a little bit more depth. I don't know what it's missing. Yeah, maybe keep it up here. So that'll be the edge of the record. and then maybe a smaller 45. This would be bigger than that, though. Oh yeah, I'm not going to be able to make the whole read the right size. Maybe. What were these things? So what is looking at them? I guess it's difficult because now music, there aren't even MP3 players barely anymore. It's all on your phone. It's all service, apps on your phone. I can't believe, yeah. That's really weird. I guess, though, it's good because Sony really blew it with the kind of digital music revolution, or revolution, the transition to digital music. Because they were in control, like with Sony Walkman, were dominant in, and then even when they switched to CD, they made some pretty remarkable CD Walkman that didn't skip and things. But then Apple just stepped in and took digital music away from them, and Sony even owns BMG or whatever. They own a music, Sony Records. They own a music company. I forget what they merged with, but. Yeah, it's really, I guess, though, everything was destined. Maybe they knew everything was going to end up on the phone. Oh, yeah, maybe we'd do an old iPod. So it didn't really matter that they lost a decade of digital music sales. Yeah, they did make some weird choices, especially in Japan. Pushing the mini disc format really hard in Japan. So everyone had mini disc players, basically. They went from cassette Walkman to mini disc, not the CD. Not CD Walkman. Yeah, there are people that aren't going to even know what this is, what that analog wheel on an iPod is. Because that's getting pretty dated now, too. Something like that. I don't even remember where all the buttons are on these things. I guess I should make some space for the eyes, right? Oh, there we go. Just push it up a little bit. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's funny how vinyl keeps persisting too. That people are still releasing the limited pressings of albums on vinyl and stuff. I wonder if that's going to stop. Like, I wonder once if people that have never had it, like never actually had it in just a chain record store, chain music store, if it's going to just stop once the last dinosaur that grew up with 45s disappears. Are there any other weird, like half? Yeah, I don't think I couldn't draw a recognizable mini disc. I don't think. Yeah, but a devoted a specifically digital music player, MP3 player, I don't think is even a thought anymore. Just like digital cameras, like people, unless they're going for more professional grade, professional level digital cameras, you don't. You just use your phone. It's crazy. Yeah, my the ones that are the that you could hear spinning, the ones that were actually just like a hard drive with a screen on them. Mine, yeah, just stopped. It just gave up the ghost at some point. But it was pretty tough. That was I was surprised because it had been in a few situations where it actually the metal part of the case was actually dented. So yeah, it had been through some pretty big trauma that probably would have defeated lesser iPods. But yeah, it just stopped one day. I guess because it is a physical, all of those things that are physically moving, that they're not flash memory, will eventually just give up. So I'm really dating myself because I think that's one of the first iPods, the ones where you could kind of hear they would spin up inside. Uh, Something mechanical was going on in there. But yeah, that means eventually it's going to stop being able to seek music. Mm. Yeah, I'm surprised. I used to be really well. The thing that's interesting is if you follow an artist on like Spotify or even YouTube, like YouTube Music or whatever, you'll get notified when they release new music. And most people are just releasing new music straight digital, like a new album. The single will just come out or just pop up in a notification. Oh, there's a new single. Like the Yeah Yeah Yeahs just released a new Blacktop, a new single from there new album, and that just popped up. And I'm like, oh, I can just listen to it right now. And there was the promotion video and everything was already done for it. Um, so it's very different now. Because I used to, yeah, seek out. It was much more effort to seek out music and listen to things and try to discover new bands and stuff. But yeah, I spend so much less effort. And though, so any group that I like that I'm kind of following that's still active that I'm following, like I'm trying to think. There, it just notifications pop up, and you just get to hear their new stuff right away. there's something, yeah, there's something weird about that though. It doesn't feel. It's not so much an event. Like a record dropping is not so much an event, and you don't get so excited about it. Yeah. Oh yeah, that would be. Yeah, if to find an old iPod and like listen to your old iTunes playlists would be hysterical. Yeah, yeah. Because I downloaded a lot of back in the day, like the LimeWire. What was the with the cat with the headphones? Napster. Um, I downloaded a lot of music once the whole music piracy thing was in full swing. Just finding a lot of rare stuff and like live tracks and stuff that I didn't. I don't know what any of this stuff is. Um, that I wanted to listen to. So yeah, had a lot of weird digital music on my iPod, and then yeah, playlists and stuff. That was always very funny because if you installed what is it? If you installed iTunes on your work computer, you could share your library and everyone could see what you listened to. So sometimes that was a little shocking. Like, how much Britney Spears does this guy have on his iPod? Some of that stuff was kind of funny. People's musical taste was always very surprising, and it was interesting. Like the average person, how eclectic. Like there isn't, not just like a metal head or a rock fan or only country music. Like people have had, especially in the iPod days, pretty diverse musical tastes, or I guess just random. They felt very random. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I think I still have a working, like one of those little flash memory iPods still working. But if you need iTunes, if you can't just side load onto it and you need like some kind of Apple software to load onto it, then yeah, you can just get those little things that basically are an SD card, with a MP3 player built into a circuit for like those cheap Chinese things that would work just as well. Um, yeah, that was the thing that really I think killed it for me is Apple's garbage software and how like I would remember I would I would pirate like some American radio shows like morning radio shows or whatever, and for my walk to work when I was first in Japan, and almost be late for work because it took so long. The transfer rate was so slow on older iPods that it would literally be like 10 minutes, and I'm standing there waiting because it was like a 2 hour, 4 hour, of audio that I needed to upload, and waiting. Come on, come on, come on, come on. And as soon as it was done, just grab it, pull the connection and run out the door. But that was, yeah, just that weird old technology. So, almost late for the train because the stupid first downloading the show on torrent and then uploading it to an iPod. Yeah, because it would go, like, people would post it like just after it was finished. So somebody's like recording it live off of American radio, then post it to a torrent site, and then I would download it and then try to upload it to the iPod before work, and it just barely worked. But that was so great to have an almost like current show, like that morning's, I guess it would be the previous days, but that previous day's show to listen to on my way to work. It felt, just like having the radio on in my car commuting in the US. Yeah, LimeWire. I said the LimeWire magic word. Yeah, LimeWire. When I was younger, Unknown Girl says, when I was younger, I downloaded a 50 Cent music video. Uh, but they named an 18. Oh, that was named an 18 plus video. So instead, oh, nice. Uh, yeah, that's right. Because you could name it any, like you could name a file anything, and if you downloaded it based on whatever they named it in the torrent, you could be surprised by what. Yeah, and they tried to do that like as an anti-piracy measure. They would some of the studios would upload music with like screeching, like digital tones, like beeps and stuff, like really loud, like somebody basically blowing a digital whistle in your ear to try to discourage. So you're listening to the song for like 5 seconds, and then it just starts screeching and making all this noise. So they tried in a lot of weird ways, because I remember the what is it, the RIAA, the Recording Association in America, was leaning really hard on everyone to try to stop music piracy, because they thought it would well, it did. It destroyed the viability of physical media for music, definitely. And the music industry just had to pivot towards merchandise and live performance as where you make their where they made their money. It definitely did kill it, but it was more like an evolution and not a death of an industry. Yeah, it's really weird. Yeah, there was a lot of weird stuff on torrents. Yeah, that was, yeah, back in the day when it was just, you never knew. Very Wild West. And that was the big advantage of going to school like in the 90s, like being a university student in the 90s, is you would have a fast, powerful network at school that connected to always on internet. And when that was very new, in the 90s, when that was very new, like only university students had that kind of insane. So people were file sharing and playing Quake and stuff, networked games over their dorm or university lands. And nobody else really had that yet, unless you had like a one of the you know newer high-tech jobs. So yeah, people got really spoiled by the access to internet and technology they had at school. But also, then it was very easy to find out who was hoarding porn and who was you know, illegally pirating everything. But that was, yeah, still back in the days though, when you can't, like, movie files were just out. There wasn't compression good enough to actually make a movie file even viable to download. So it was just MP3s and JPEGs basically, because there wasn't, digital video in the 90s wasn't even a thing. They had that, I think Max had that little like postage stamp, that 240 240 by what, 180 or whatever, little postage stamp render that you could do. So I did some of my earliest animation I tried to convert digitally and make. I probably have little QuickTime files that are that big. It's totally useless, because you couldn't even put that, like, websites were so slow and the internet was so slow, you couldn't even embed that on a web page. It was a long time before that got very viable. And then we had, yeah, but it changed pretty quickly, because then, yeah, you had embedded, once people were running their own servers and everything, you had embedded video. And because that was the I don't know, that was maybe that was early 2000s. That might have been early 2000s. The like the Pam and Tommy tape was actually streamed online. Um, I forget. Maybe that was when that was released. Dun, dun, dun. Date. I want the date. I don't need the true story. Oh, 25 years ago. Oh, yeah, so it was the 90s. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, late 90s, though. So late 90s, they already had, like, embedded video. But it was really expensive. Because there wasn't even barely YouTube yet. Yeah. Yeah, it really is. It's just this omnipresent thing. And I can't believe, like, we're so, like, you know, up to our eyeballs in it that we can't even look at it objectively anymore. And we're raising kids like completely immersed in digital everything. It's crazy. All right. I don't know what any of this stuff is, or if it can. It's funny shapes to me, but I have no idea what it is. It's just so this could be a camera case or something. So a what, garage sale, flea market kind of thing. I don't know. Maybe none of. Oops, these guys. Okay, we'll just keep these and move on to a blank blank page. Mm. Yeah, that's crazy. Yes, nostalgia. What is that? That's the. I can't believe how much they've farmed that too. I never. I guess we should have suspected because I think the Gen X, the Gen X generation. I guess all generations have that nostalgia that they're kind of uh, you know that take advantage of remembering your like childhood or your teens or whatever. But it seems like my generation really got we were nostalgic for things from like 5 years ago. Like they really got that machine going as quickly as possible. Like most like baby boomers and stuff were thinking about when they were teens, and we were thinking about, oh, remember elementary school, and yeah, and so they really got to work on us early. Oh, I didn't do the projector, so I can see how weird this looks. There we go. I'm still trying to get into the light. I think it's working better. I've brought everything back under the light a little bit more. Yeah, now that I tip the light back toward the green screen, I think it's working a lot better too. It's just that I've got this like more narrow range because I can, if I get too close, I'm like, yeah, look, my hand is like totally in shadow now. I'm Lando walking out of the light in that scene. All right. But yeah, but what's the Greek, the pain? What is the what's Latin? I can't even spell it right. Nostalgia. There's a G in there. Oh, that's weird. A lot of definitions are just acute homesickness. Yeah, pain. Oh, the pain to return home. Yeah, that's right. So, nostos. Yes, from the Greek, nostos, return home, and agios, aigos. What is that? Is that an L? Algos. Algos is pain. So the pain of returning home. Yeah. So they're defining it as like acute homesickness, but yeah, I think it's the pain of remembering, yeah, things and the kind of things that never existed. Like that's the funny thing is we're nostalgic for fantasy. Like we're nostalgic for things that if you could put together the full memory of, oh yeah, my alcoholic father and my manic depressive mother, and like, oh wait, why would I want to go back to that time? That's funny. Oh, a broken record? Oh, Unknown Girl. That's great. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's great. I think that's what I have to do. um, yeah, is due. Oh yeah, is due a record that's a broken record. That's great because that phrase is so funny that a broken record that is something that it says the same thing over and over again, but yeah, an actual like record that is broken wouldn't be doing much. That's a good. That's a really good reference. Let's see if I can get a believable break in a record here. I'll redraw the thickness. Yeah, records don't actually break very jagged, do they? It's more a they break pretty straight. But this looks more dramatic. All right, and maybe another piece. Ah, that's great. Yeah, you guys, it's for me it's Thursday, but yeah, for maybe a lot of the world it's just me and Unknown Girl are living in the future. I think we've only got an hour's difference, but yeah, with North America it's like 16 hours for most. So it's it's yesterday. Yesterday late evening. Okay, so that's where I'm gonna screw this up, is trying to get the width right. That looks terrible. Let's see here. Actually, yeah, something just like that, but a little rounder. I don't know why that's so straight. Why is that so straight? Maybe one more jagged little part here. There we go. I think that's okay. And then we can use this as the depth. Yeah, I can do that with highlights, I think. So just get the... I'm making them thick like 78s. It's a little inaccurate. I think vinyl records are incredibly thin. Maybe the angle could be better. Yeah, broken record's a great idea. Unknown Girl, that's really good. Oh no, actually I did want to distort it. Yeah, because there's a lot of funny puns and stuff in there. A broken record actually was pretty quiet and useless. These pieces don't even fit together. All right. Actually, maybe I don't need the missing piece, or it could be actually the piece is broken into smaller pieces. That might be better. Yeah, this looks more violent and dramatic. Let's just do that. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I've broken a record, so I can't remember how how bad the pieces are. There we go. A broken record. Yeah, that's a good idea. Oh, nice. Oh, so dude's Arizona. Yeah, yeah. So you are 5 p.m. there. Wow, you're actually ahead of... Yeah, that's right. Australia's 2 hours ahead. Yeah, still Wednesday. Wow. That's crazy. Yeah, so I'm in... Yeah, there's only one time zone for Japan, so both, Osaka and Tokyo are same time. Yeah, I don't think even the tiny islands, like, just because of the angle of the archipelago, like, none of the islands get outside of a time zone. So I think, like, China has multiple time zones, and Korea maybe an hour. behind. I don't know. No, Korea is really close to Japan. It's like disturbing how how close all these Asian countries are. But yeah, I don't think there's much of a time difference at all. All right, so we have our broken record. And now we go to the horrible blank canvas. Yeah, that's a great idea, Unknown Girl. Hopefully I can come up with something good. It's crazy. Yeah, it's funny. It's like Japan could actually straddle multiple time zones, but just the way that it's angled, nothing gets too far off. But that's easy. That's so much easier to remember because that's a thing. Because you can even like harass people, call it bad times and things because there's a 3 hour difference in a lot of places, East Coast and West Coast in America. So yeah, you can call people way too late or too early. So what's another? I guess I'll just draw something totally different. Yeah, I would love to be in Arizona now. Anywhere away from this weird freezing snap we've had. At least there's no precipitation because we'd be screwed again. I'd be like frozen up on this mountainside with if it rained and then froze again. That was brutal. Alright. It's a weird little ball. There we go. Yeah. When I can't get the shape right, I can just cheat it. Let's see if I can draw one of those weird Chinese spoons. Those, yeah, like those ones that sit flat and then they have that weird handle. Kind of. I don't think it's deep. I think they're actually a little bit deeper. Yeah, there's so many variations of those. They actually, for like ramen shops and stuff, they make these spoons so they'll have a notch in them, so you can set them on the edge of the bowl, and they won't just like slump into the bottom. They won't just slide down into the bottom. It's a lot of improvements on the design. Can probably do better than that. It's a little bit sharper lines. It's pretty deep here and it's round, but then it goes very quickly up. That's not it. Yeah, that's even worse. Yeah, maybe I'm just drawing it too long. I think it's more like that. Yeah. Crazy. That's why they have photo reference. I'm sure so many things are so much more accurate now because you can just Google image anything. There'll be a photo of just about anything online. It's a little better. The handle doesn't look as flat. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this one is better with just fixing that weavy. Oops. Handle. Yeah, this looks weird as well. I don't know. I don't think we're doing that. Oh no, strep throat. Oh, that's miserable, dude. Yeah, there's a lot of respiratory stuff. Like so many people are coughing and crazy. I think everyone's with the kind of lockdowns and stuff, and sanitizing and masks and things. We've weakened our immune system in general. So now a lot of winter diseases are we can't fight them off as easily now. So we're getting attacked much more easily. Oh, I totally missed that. That's great. Dude named named his fish Mate. Nice. Yeah, I wonder what is going on. with our weird weather. But it feels very random. So who knows? All right, what else? Small cups. No, I don't want to. Draw a bunch of weird Japanese dishes. It's not gonna work well. Oh, same layer. Oh, of course, Windows had to auto-update something, so I shut up this morning to an already restarted computer. That always creeps me out. And, of course, it screwed up my, video card driver, so I had to update the video driver. It feels like twice a month, at least once a month, if not twice a month. I've got to deal with that. That's insane. I mean, that wastes so much time for, imagine an entire graphics studio that every computer has to be updated that often. That's really ridiculous. And for just what? The garbage security issues that these programmers can't deal with? I'll just keep at it. Yeah, it's really weird. Yeah, it's funny too, if you turn off automatic, I've already complained about this so many times on this stream, you turn off the auto update for Windows, eventually it's going to force an update. It's going to say you have to do this now. This is a very high priority update. And then when you do it, it turns back on auto updates. So yeah, if you don't remember to go back in there and turn it off, then oops. Whoa, look at that. Yeah, that's how high resolution I draw. Yeah, it's really stupid. Wow, that's really lopsided. Yeah, that's just so frustrating. And it's all just those are financial decisions. They don't have anything to do with making PCs work better in any way. Yeah, I wish there was just a way, because you could. I mean, I literally could prove financial damages for every time they do stupid shit like that, or if there's like a delay between. But I'm sure in my my user agreement for Windows, it says fuck you, whatever trouble our software causes is your fault. But when there's discrepancies between when something that Windows knocks out as far as like a graphics driver or whatever, and then the time it takes for the people that make the graphics driver to do their update, that could literally be lost revenue, lost wages. But I'm sure I've already clicked OK on something that says not our problem, not our fault. They have their best whatever they call it, their best intent, best effort. We make our best effort. I'm sure that's like legally in the Windows agreement. Would you guys? I came across a YouTube video that was just reading it out loud. But have you guys seen any of the Epstein list? Oh, wait, my stream just went dead. The Epstein visitor list, the little black book of who visited the pedophile island, is pretty amazing. It's basically everybody, including Justin Roiland. Justin Roiland was on Pedophile Island. Surprise, surprise. Yeah, a lot of people. Yeah, somebody and it was funny, he mispronounced so many names because there's a lot of people he didn't know. But it's everybody. It's everybody that you've seen in a movie in the last 10 years was on that island. So obviously that's why they can't release the list, because movie studios and everything, if they literally had to question these people or find out what was going on. And of course, not everybody was probably doing something illegal, but aren't you an accessory to a crime? Or if you see a crime and don't report it, don't say anything, isn't there some, a way that you're breaking the law? But I guess it depends on what the law of the Bahamas is. That's probably why the island was in the Bahamas. But yeah, it's everybody. So it's really depressing, because the celebrity circles are so small, and so once you get inroads to that, I think everybody, oh, he's going, well, then it should be safe. It's like everybody ends up on pedophile island. Yeah, but it's just like everything. It's just like the not Epstein, but the New Line guy, the big ugly guy. Everybody knew he was sexually abusing actresses, and they just called him, handsy, or he was aggressive. It was I forget the terms, but everybody knew he was abusing women, and I mean every star you can possibly think of, and some of them directly had that experience and didn't say anything about it, because they're all protecting. I guess that's we're talking about that before. Maybe that was last week with Matt. But we're in this age, even though this like call out culture, cancel culture is abused. We also are able to kind of see how much abuse happens just based on people's position and their power, and because they generate so much money for companies, like that fat guy at Nickelodeon that likes little girls and is obsessed with feet. Like, those people are just allowed because they're just hit makers, or they're just generating so much revenue for a company. They get protection. So it's really disgusting. But we're seeing a lot more of that. So it's almost like this, like when you're a kid and you don't know anything about the adult world, and you like slowly find out the things that adults do, sex and drugs and everything. And then this is our like second, what's that called? Like end of innocence or whatever. As adults, we're seeing like how much people have tolerated, like how much to get where you want to go, what certain people have had to do, and treated it like a joke or a funny stereotype, or just a urban legend or a weird rumor. But it's sad how what people have had to do to get into certain places and certain parts of their careers and things, and people that did those same things that didn't end up with those careers. I think that's when you get the whistleblowers. That's where you get the people that actually come out and accuse people. If they've endured some sort of harassment from someone and it didn't help their career, then it's a crime. If it helps my career, if I get cast in this movie, then well, it's just the price you pay, the price of doing business, I think they call it. But if it doesn't help your career, then oh man, he's a rapist. Yeah, it's so sad. Yeah. Yeah, oh dude, yeah, that's a good point. There's more and more of that is coming out about yeah. And but I think it's just like in a lot of countries, it's also used like for a political tool, but a lot of countries they kind of clean house, and people that are taking bribes and stuff, they kind of round up and kick out a lot of the dirty politicians and various, but that's usually like associated with political moves as well. But that doesn't happen in the US. That just doesn't happen, because we know, like, even if you could prove murder and rape and child abuse and things, these people are unprosecutable unless the whole group that's supporting them like takes a step back. So they would have to do something so offensive to their group of supporters, and not the crime. That doesn't even mean the crime. They would just have to betray their group in such a way that the group would stop speaking for them and defending them and just walk away, and that's when people get thrown to the wolves, or thrown to the media. But that's so so depressing. Yeah, no, you're true. Yeah, embarrassment, or blocking it for victims. Yeah, it's funny, and like I think we were talking about that. The like uh people just don't want to be the one that topples the house of cards. They don't want to. Everyone is making so much money, and I have an opportunity to be part of this. And if I say anything, it all comes crashing down, and so I lose my opportunity, as well as you know get some infamy, or some get unpopular with certain people. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it probably is really funny once you get to a certain level in your career, like how your management and stuff will, what terms they talk to you about things in. Yeah, so we shouldn't listen to this moralizing of any celebrity about anything until they clean house with the sexual abuse and the pedophilia and everything. I mean, it's just like they're just depraved. I mean, we used to, like, maybe it was like 200 years ago, but probably probably like a beginning of film. I think like beginning of film in America created this idea of a movie star and stuff. But prior to that, actors were garbage. Actors were thought of as just scum, debaucherous scum that you knew were doing things wrong. You knew were doing terrible things, and the silent film era proved that. There's a lot of well, it was also the 20s, but there was a lot of debauchery and everything going on. But yeah, the social status of actors was terrible. Like, what's your job? Pretending to be something? That's terrible. That's not work. But now, because of America's lack of culture and uh, royalty and everything, we've made them our gods. It's so weird. And now that we have much more access to celebrities through like Twitter and things, it's so weird, really bizarre, and they're even mouthier. I guess prior to that, like in the um, 70s and 80s, like celebrities would just speak up. They would be a spokesperson for a cause or a charity, or do fundraising or whatever. But now you got to listen to them bark about all kinds of nonsense on social media. Uh, Now I'm just drawing pottery. Chris Hansen, yeah, right. We need Chris Hansen to the stars. Yeah, that guy though sounds like a little bit of a. He doesn't have things all together either. He because he was trying to do his own thing. After he left whatever that news organization where he did To Catch a Predator with, he was trying to do like an independent version of that and crowdfund and everything for it, and just like stiffed a bunch of vendors and walked away with a bunch of money. And obviously he's not a businessman, and once he didn't have business managers helping him do that, he really screwed up the finances on it. So a lot of people are angry with Chris Hansen. I think he's back again. I think he's got another thing. I can't even imagine though the legality of independently setting up a police sting can't be easy to navigate. You got to be open to a lot of lawsuits, because I mean you can just destroy somebody. You get somebody walking into, whether it's the right person or not, you get somebody on video walking into a pedophile sting, and if they're a priest or a public school teacher or something, you're destroying their life. Yeah, so there has to be some weird, because I think wasn't that the reason that the original To Catch a Predator stopped, is because like a doctor or somebody locked himself in the house and committed suicide. I might be having that wrong. I might be confusing that with something else, but I thought there was some like horrible incident, suicide incident that killed the first version of that show, like the original Chris Hansen. Like, have a seat. Yeah, I think something weird happened where they actually did catch somebody with a lot to lose, and he just decided he wasn't going to lose it. Yeah, because of a death. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think there needs to be a new. Well, there's a guy on YouTube that's kind of taking up taking up the mantle and is really aggressively going after pedophiles. I can't remember. There was some podcast he was a guest on that I was listening to, and he's driving all over the country and doing these stings, like trying and he is shaming them, like, of course, but initially does start to try to, like, interact, like is like, it starts with like a respectful kind of interaction and tries to get some, like, what are you doing, why are you doing this kind of thing, and then as soon as they start to get difficult, he turns into the I know why you're here, I know what you're doing. Yeah, I forget the channel, but yeah, there is somebody that's getting some press doing that, but I think he's doing it completely independently. He's got like a crew, like a camera crew, but I think it's a totally YouTuber kind of thing. So he could get sued into oblivion pretty easily. Uh, yeah, crazy. Yeah, and Chris Hansen's getting a little long in the tooth, as they say. He's a little bit, yeah, old to be popping out of pantries into suburban kitchens. Uh, all right. Okay, I'm getting nowhere here. I'm just drawing the same kind of weird. I'm doing a making a pottery shop. Oh, dang! Thank you, unknown girl. After breaking into Conrad's house, assistant DA immediately knew. Oh, he was an assistant DA. Oh, shit. I thought it was a doctor. Life and career constructed was effectively over when authorities charged into his house with a camera crew. He grabbed a gun and shot himself. Dang. That's crazy. Yeah, I just remember some video of, like, press outside of a house. Yeah, an assistant DA. Oof. Yeah. Well, that'll do it. Yeah, and that's the thing too, is if you do snag, like, politicians, like if you do snag, like, the chief of police or whatever, you're not airing that footage. I think you're hitting that delete button on your video files there. There's no way. Yeah, you could stumble into some, unfortunately, like, reckless, powerful men falling for their scam, their sting. Yeah, that's the thing we never, because it is always like, these, like, computer programmers and stuff. It's always these, like, kind of depressing. Occasionally school teachers and stuff, but it's just these depressingly probably broke and shabby guys. But could you imagine? There's never anyone that's said when they get caught in that To Catch a Predator thing, do you know who I am? Because as soon as you hear that, or do you know who I'm connected to, or, like, yeah, as soon as you hear that, it's like, oh well, we should probably just delete this. Uh, Crazy. All right. Okay, so let's try something different. I thought not drawing boxes would help, but it doesn't. Crazy. Yeah, it's funny too what's become entertainment. There's a lot of, like, police body cams and stuff on YouTube now. That's crazy. Oh, oh man, I'm already fading. Okay, so second idea. Just do broken ceramics. Yeah, a lot of these look like students with pottery wheels, their first projects. Oh, it's not on the right layer. All right. Well, none of that's very inspired. I guess if I put handles on things, maybe that would help. It could be coffee jokes. Yeah, that's my ultimate dream. I don't want to see any of my characters, ever tattooed onto somebody, but I do want to see like a break room in somebody's office with one of my, stupid coffee cartoon jokes or donut jokes or something stuck on the wall. That would be great. All right, let's merge this down. Yeah, that's the ultimate achievement for me. To realize that's, or someone is like, pinned something up, like printed it out and pinned it up on a cubicle wall or something. That's the dream. Mm. Oh, wow. Yes, it'd be pretty shocking because my art style is not anything that's going to look good as a tattoo. It'd be funny. But yeah, that's how you know you've arrived, or you actually have a fan, a devoted fan, as if somebody devotes ink and skin to your characters or whatever. But I just want something in a cubicle. I just want something. If someone just showed me their desktop wallpaper on their work PC that was one of my cartoons, that would be enough. Yeah, the Go Comics. I'm worried. The company that runs Go Comics just recently killed their. They were trying to print or publish tabletop RPGs, and they just killed the department that does that. And I wasn't even paying attention to their other departments. Like they do greeting cards and digital manga, like English versions of digital manga and stuff. So they've been experimenting with a lot of different markets. And recently they're downsizing, and my original kind of editor left. So I'm really hoping that doesn't mean, something could happen, that they might cut the number of cartoonists that they want to pay. They might take a look at numbers and stuff and just say, yeah, let's just get rid of the bottom 20% of our syndicated strips. That would really be a heartbreaker. Hopefully I get enough activity that I'm not at the bottom. I don't know. But some people work so hard to cultivate, cultivate an audience. I'm just not good at that. All right. Yeah, there wasn't any warning. I think it's just maybe numbers are down for everybody, and so they were restructuring, and it may just be like a management reshuffling or whatever. Because sometimes when new management comes in, those kind of shakeups happen. So that might just be the case. They're trying to get their numbers back up because they just talked about a whole new because they did one about 10 years ago, a redesign of the website. So that may be part of, that sounds like a new management plan. Fix the website. Because everybody knows websites are what all the kids are doing today. I don't think anybody needs a website as much as they just need to be, have an account on an app or have, just social media is so much more powerful now. Yeah, I need some room for the eyes here. Let's carve this out. Yeah, so you never know when the hammer, but it was a good run. I had a nice long time with this strip, so I won't stop doing it. I'll just probably be more desperate for for donations. I'll be pleading, and I'll have tears in my eyes much more often on the live streams if my syndication goes away. All right, maybe flip. Okay, we're doing a coffee joke. Let's do a flip. I can't do anything else here. Flip horizontal. Ooh, jeez. Look at that. That's called huge asymmetry. See if I can. Actually, I should probably just redraw. Yeah, let me just redraw especially the base. I think that's all that is needed. Yeah, but it's nice without, this live stream and without connection to you guys, I would feel totally like I lost the audience completely, because previous to doing this live stream, my only audience was the comments, subscribers and comments on Go Comics. So yeah, it's great to have that not feel like, okay, that's the end of this. I guess I should just stop doing it, because yeah, there'll always be an audience of some kind, just to hang out. It's a little too far, isn't it? All right. Well, we got these guys now. Oh, it was funny. Japanese Domino's just had to fix their. I think it's just like a misunderstanding of English, or when they introduced the sizes of pizzas, they did it in a weird order. So there used to be two sizes of pizzas for the longest time, just large and regular. And regular was kind of the size of a medium. But then they introduced medium. And medium is smaller than a regular. So they had large, regular, medium. But regular is just medium. Medium, the newest size, was just basically like a small personal pizza kind of size, like a one-person sized pizza. And finally, they realized, after maybe a lot of confusion, because they would offer deals where you could get free medium pizzas, but a medium pizza was like nothing. The price and everything, it was like throwing in nothing to a deal. But people, especially people that knew that system more from Western pizzas, or foreigners, would be ordering this stuff and then complaining. I think that's probably what caused this change, is they're getting a lot of complaining. So now they're changing it to medium, large, and small. Or I think they're making regular the small or whatever. But they're bringing medium into its middle position that it should have had. But it's so funny that nobody caught that. They're like, we'll make medium the small. Or it was someone hoping that it would be confusing. That could have been the goal as well. Is just let's just do this and see if anybody notices. Because I think they do say, after the size, it does say the dimension, the diameter. Come on. But it's weird, because the default for, especially their app or their online ordering, default is always regular. So that doesn't help, it helps. It should start at one end or the other, I guess. All right, so there's some coffee, or what's going on here? Yeah, put eyes on all those dishes. Yeah, I should just do a cartoon that's just like everything I draw in an hour, and just cram it all in there and say, no joke, just just a crowd. Okay. Yeah, I think I've wondered that before, if I just had the same text for like a month straight, like every cartoon, I just left, the same kind of generic joke. How long it would take before people started complaining or noticing. Because as soon as they say something to the syndicator, to Go Comics, they'll contact me. But that would be funny to just see how long that could go on. Okay, so coffee joke. Second cup. The unnecessary second cup. Needs to be something else, I think. Oh. It would be funny too if I literally used the same joke, but it still kind of worked like every cartoon. It could be. It wasn't just, nonsense. It could possibly be. Yeah, there's got to be something. Yeah, there's definitely something I could do with that. Because it would be like, when it would be like repetition. So maybe the first one was funny, and then wait, it's just the same thing over and over again. But then the repetition of it, the combination of like the pictures getting stranger or whatever, it could be a like almost a sequential thing that actually did get funny again. Like the first one was funny, the middle is like, okay, he's just repeating the same thing, but eventually like a joke happened again where you got surprised by what by what one of the cartoons was. That's too high level, I think, for me, but something could happen. All right. So coffee grounds or or just making fun of the names of sizes, like when people use the Italian words for sizes. Uh, hmm. What? So stupid. Hmm. Yeah, there's Google sometimes is so useless. I guess you just have to ask the question in the right way, but very weird. Okay, how about if we add the word coffee? Okay, here we go. Coffee sizes in Italy. Yeah, so yeah, the Starbucks is using venti, trenta. Oh, so 20, 30. Oh, venti. Oh, venti is 20, so it must be like 20 ounces or something. So it's not size words. It's actually numbers. I didn't know that. Yeah, so Trenta. That made me a little suspicious. Yeah, Trenta did sound like a triple something. Yeah, so grande just means large, but of course venti is 20, Trenta is 30. So it's probably ounces or whatever, milliliters. Weird. Oh yeah, man's a best friend. Nice. Or coffee. Yeah, coffee size names. Oh yeah, yeah, it is. Venti is 20 ounces. Oh, this is some weird Starbucks FAQ or something. 20 ounces for hot, 24 for cold. I guess living room for ice. Short and tall. Hmm. Oh, interesting. So it is, yeah, it is basically just a measurement of liquid. Wow. Lattes in Italy are 8 ounces. So yeah, the smallest, the little like kid size cup in Starbucks is the size of a latte. That's crazy. Finally, they do not overheat the milk to make any drink extra hot. Yeah, cappuccinos are 6 ounces. Lattes are 8 ounces in Italy. Wow. But that must be, real espresso. That must be it's probably the same amount of caffeine. It's just less nonsense. Yeah, because you couldn't get people to pay $5 for, this this much Starbucks. They really, that's a whole psyop. Starbucks getting into getting into our popular culture. Yeah, that's amazing. 8 ounces is the standard latte in Italy. That's tiny. Oh, I didn't know the number thing. I'm glad. Yeah, because I guess you don't want to do like large, super large, gigantic. Yeah, it's better to just do numbers at a certain point. Okay. Hot or cold beverages? Yes. Yeah, very weird. Let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to something else. This needs something else, either a puddle, a puddle around everything, or some steam, or a tea bag. The coffee tea rivalry. Yeah, let's try. I'll just put it on a separate layer. Maybe a tea bag on the taller. Oh, why is my? Oh, that's right. I sized up the drawings. That's why. Oh no, it's just the tag, not a tea bag, just the tag. All right. Are there any other tag jokes? Wondering what the tag was all about. Wondering what the... Or trying to overbrew to be as caffeinated as coffee. But that's, I think that might be good. He's competitively overbrewing to try to be as caffeinated as a single cup of coffee. That'll probably get a argument going in the comments about, well, the average cup of tea actually has... Okay. Thank you. Yeah, let's do that. We'll do an overbrewing thing. Look at that. Just a simple tea tag. Oh, price tag. That's good. I wonder if it was still returnable. Yeah, with the price tag still hanging off of him. That's good. Oh, I forgot. We're doing record jokes. All right. So not hearing much from the broken record. Let me just write this down before I forget it. He wasn't a broken record. He was a broken record, but he wasn't a broken record. And I will spell broken correctly. Something like that. All right, well, let's put some color on these and see. They can even look slightly like what they're supposed to be. Yeah, there's like a brownishness to vinyl, right? I should make the... It's not just black. Yeah, kind of, yeah, like that kind of color. I'll put some grooves on there, maybe. And the red Columbia label on the LP. And maybe like a yellow Decca Records label. That orangey yellow on the 45. Yeah, that's bigger, but yeah. Oh well, it'll work. So many people won't even know what I'm trying to draw that it doesn't matter. And we'll make the iPod a little, light gray. Actually, it's probably the wheel that's light gray, isn't it? No? I can't remember. The iPod was pretty white, but it did have the silver. The old one that I had was kind of half. Oops. Oh yeah, I should half metal. The back was metal. What's going on here? DB. Oh, I made a group. I didn't want to do that. So like this. It's like this half tone thing where the back of it was so they would engrave and you could pay them to engrave the back of it. And the front plate was the plastic. And the screen was kind of like that greenish LED, wasn't it? I'll make it a little greenish. That might not be correct, but oops. I remember it being a little bit like that. Maybe not. Now he's just a broken record. That's good. Thanks, JC King. How's it going? Yeah, very good. All right. And yeah, we can do some of the weird text color. Oh, I gotta get real small to do this. There we go. Look at that high-tech display. All right. So let's put some shadow on some of this and see if it actually looks like what it's supposed to look like. And then the inside. And then the outside edge. Actually, I can maybe do that. All right. Oh, yeah. That looks interesting. And the records, they're definitely going to need some. I don't think they can look very dark, though. Yeah, so maybe just the edges. So just this drop shadow and then this. Yeah, make this look like a hole of some kind. Then I'll put maybe some highlights on so the records have some shine. Maybe. Okay, so separate layer. Let's go. Oh, that's not right. This probably needs to be. Sorry, am I completely off camera? No, not yet. Maybe making these a little orange might look interesting. So not pure white. No, it needs to be brighter. Yeah. I don't know. And then fade that out a little bit. Not that much. Something like that. You can't tell if that's doing the right thing or not. Some grooves. These are very even grooves. Well, they have grooves. Oh, and the broken pieces would as well. Okay. There we go. Yeah, that's right. Warped. Yeah, I'm drawing them very thick. These look like 78s, like they look like those old gramophone records. But yeah, records used to warp. I remember that. If you kept them like somewhere too hot or whatever, didn't store them, so that there's anything kind of holding them, they can actually get. So you'd watch the needle, the stylus just like do this, woo, woo. And it took a lot. I don't think it ever got quite. Records couldn't distort enough that it would make the sound too crazy. I don't remember. It may be possible, but I do remember having some warped records that you'd watch the needle just kind of go, just trying to stay on it. And the funny thing that they did a lot is you could put a record, especially like a 45 size record, in a magazine. So you'd have either printed on paper, like adhered to like a piece of cardboard, like a thin piece of cardstock, or just a piece of thin, like mylar type plastic records that then you could there'd be a hole in it. You could put it just right on a turntable, and there's some kind of music there, but it's it's barely cut into that plastic. But you could put a song in a magazine and play it on your record player with just a little floppy piece of plastic or something adhered to card. Yeah. That's so funny. But those are very easy to just destroy because the grooves aren't very deep, I think. The way that they make those is not... So probably, I wonder if those things survived or if they're all just kind of became unplayable. Mm-hmm. Oh, broken headphones. Yeah, that would... Oh, yeah, yeah. Broken headphones for the Walkman would be good. So what were they were just that round thing, right? The white kind of just round little thing that sat in your ear. Yeah, I can't remember the original iPod headphones. That's weird. Generation. It says immigrant. That's so funny. Please autocorrect my spelling. Oh yeah, yeah. It's those. Yeah, they had the little metal grill on them. Yeah, they still had that long thing that's on the new AirPods. Now that long thing, but connected to a wire. Yeah, yeah. Maybe that actually might be funny. Even though I'm almost done coloring this, but a little snipped earbud. I'm gonna have to change the scale. Let's see if I can draw this in the right look here. Yeah, it's might be a little distracting though, because this probably won't have anything to do with the joke. Yeah, it's not gonna. It's not easy to draw it to the right line thickness either. But yeah, that's a good idea though. I think broken record, broken headphones would be good. Kind of the end of music. All right, let's try these guys. Let's do kind of something like that. Maybe a warmer red or an orange. How about this? Oh yeah, that's a good combination. And then the tag can just be a little bit off white. Yeah. Okay. Super simple. Let's not overcomplicate things. God damn, I keep doing that. I gotta remember. I think that's a new shortcut. G makes a group in your layer list in Photoshop. I think before they had the layers, or before they had a lot of layer commands, I think G was just to group layers together separately. I think that changed because I don't remember ever using that. Okay, I think the coffee needs to be, both of them should have some kind of liquid, maybe. Very dark coffee. And then more orangey, brighter tea. Okay, I could zoom in to see what I'm actually doing. Yeah, I think that works. Okay. There we go. Do I want to do this? Up there. Okay. Yeah, I think that works. And then some to make the liquid very liquidy. Some little glints. Oh, I didn't do the eyes on the other one either. Yeah, it was a little daunting to try to figure out how I'm going to put eyes on a record, on a vinyl record, but all right. Let's just do this. Overbrewing. Just try to remember that. All right, let's put some eyes on some vinyl records. Where else can you go to watch someone try to figure out where they're going to put the eyes on something that isn't really supposed to have any sort of eyes? Maybe a little bit bigger. All right. Yeah, this is one of those ones that maybe it's just a little bit too ambiguous. All right, well, we've got our broken record and our competitive cup of tea. Let's do this. I guess mug of tea, right? All right. Phonograph cylinder. Is one that I've seen tragically broken. Older versions from the record. Oh yeah. That's crazy. Dude wants a cup of tea after seeing how deliciously, appetizingly this has been drawn. I just make people hungry. I think everybody that's up late just gets hungry from me drawing food cartoons. All right. Sorry. Little pouring sound. Uh-oh, I'm out of tea. Yeah, I switched to this giant glass mug. It almost looks like a pitcher, doesn't it? Because the plastic ones I was using, they held a lot, but they were very tall, so I always worried about tall, and the base was kind of narrow, so I was worried about knocking them over. And if I knock them over, they're going to get artwork and computers and things wet. So this thing is impossible to knock over, probably even to break. If I threw this pretty hard, I'm sure it wouldn't, even because it's pretty thick cut glass. So it's a weapon. All right, so we've got our giant mugs. Look at those couple of mugs. Oh, that could be the joke. They were just a couple of mugs. So mug being the yeah, term for like face, like mostly referring to like ugly face. Yeah, a couple of mugs. Nice. Dude says it's a battle I'm willing to face. Excellent. All right, let's switch over to some comments. Actually, no. Yeah, we're not doing comments. We're doing going through the archives still. Where the heck did it go? Where did it go? There we go. All right, and I gotta find out where we left off as well. Where could it be? Oh, September. Okay. So September 2008. So fire up the time machine here. So we'll do September, October, November 2008. Wow. Oh, that's right. Boom. Oh, they barely both fit on. So the date and the joke barely fit on. Oh, so yeah, so September 2nd. So we did this one last week, but he now knew his whole life would be bunt cake because he was a bunt cake pan. September 4th. Oh, I like this one. This one always amused me. He had suddenly become a very dirty martini. So instead of just the olive juice, the juice from the olives poured into the martini, he's got a dirty sock. That joke always made me. So this is when I started to just try to amuse myself and not worry. Oh, 3 pins though. That's pretty good. People like socks in martinis, I guess. September 9th. It was one thing to threaten it and quite another to actually do it. Yeah, so that was the kind of making fun of those stores that are always going out of business. So in some big cities in the U.S., like Los Angeles or New York, you'll see these stores that to attract customers, ever since the day they opened, they have these big, bright, crazy red and yellow, like going out of business signs. And they're never going out of business. They're just like a liquidator or they're like moving overstock or whatever. But they want to get you in there to make you think you're getting some deal that just can't possibly wait. So the eternal going out of business. Oh, September 11th, 2008, 7-year anniversary. They had long forgotten who was hooked up to an actual bell. Oh yeah, have you ever seen that? That was something triggered that with me. It might have just been something I saw in a movie or whatever, but it's not like multiple dwellings, so it's not like a shared house that would have different entrances or different mailboxes or whatever, but just the you know a cheap doorbell or just them upgrading the doorbell but leaving the old button there. So like there's an old button next to a newer button next to a newer button, and you just have to kind of guess which one is actually going to make any sound. A lot of times though, yeah, when there's shared houses, you see this whole just like mishmash of random doorbell technology. But yeah, I forget specifically what that was that triggered that. September, did I? Oh, yeah, I did. September 16th, 2008. Being quarters only, he missed out on meaningful interactions with smaller change. Yep, so parking meters, I think still, or maybe they're all digital now. You can use your iPhone or whatever to pay it. But used to be quarters. They would only accept quarters. Yeah, I have the guts. When I was walking home from some party in Chicago, like, early morning, like the sun was coming up, I walked by a parking meter that had the top like open. Like somebody had figured out how to unlock it, or somebody that was doing something to it left it unlocked, and so somebody flipped it open. So it's just sitting flipped open, and the guts of the parking meter they're just like a little, it looks like a music box or whatever. It's just a bunch of like metal plates kind of bolted together, and all the mechanisms, the springs and everything. So it's got the dial, and then it's got the whole mechanism to accept the change. Maybe those things break or they need repaired, so they made them modular. So it was open, so I just grabbed it. I just grabbed it out of there, and I had that on my desk for the longest time, just a little parking meter I should have used it for my freelance. I should have put quarters in it to remind me of how long I'd been working on something for freelance. But yeah, I was always amazed. It's a pretty simple mechanism. I guess it has to be, because if vending machines or anything are too tricky, how they accept coins, then they can easily malfunction. But yeah, I love that. I still got that in storage, I think, somewhere. But the guts of a Chicago parking meter, and hopefully the statute of limitations is up, so my theft of city property isn't still chargeable. But yeah, I love that, and it was so random. I've never seen that before. So there's some kind of like key, locking mechanism where they can unlock it and just lift the top of the meter, and then you can take the guts out. I'm sure those aren't even used anymore. What an artifact! All right, quarters only. Everything's got a story today. September 18th. The umbrella was so portable, he bordered on miniature. I think this was coming to Japan revelation, is we don't care about having super small umbrellas, but here they do, because women want to just like throw an umbrella in a purse, or even like not an umbrella but a parasol, just be able to put that in a purse, and when they need it, have it. And the intricacy that some of these things open, they literally like unfold 3 times, so the diameter of it is actually half, and then that's a third of that is the length of the umbrella. So you get these like weird tiny like sausage size mini umbrellas in Japan, because they're so intricate in how they open. That was the inspiration for that. September 23rd, 2008. Oh, sorry, I'll get the chat up. This whole thing is in the way. There we go. Sending cheese through the mail was always an uncomfortable process. Oh, here comes a comment. So there's obviously a wedge of cheese in this envelope that's not saying close. Uncomfortable for whom? It's the envelope, I think, is having the most discomfort. Can't you tell? Uncomfortable for whom, she says. I'll just save that. It's not relevant to really anything. Okay. So let's see. For the postal carrier, too, I don't think you can put that in a mail slot. Let's keep going. On September the 25th. Without the need of a twist tie, the Ziploc bag was free to imagine, containing all sorts of exotic substances. Okay. There's I think this is the one that made it to my book cover. Yeah, so this already was printed on the back of and I think I even credited KM9000. This was credited on the back of my first collection of these cartoons. As far as, instead of like praise and recommendations, it was just, somebody. So I used this, and the guy says, okay, yeah, I got it. There's a comic called Domestic Abuse. One of my favorite comments of all time. Oh, wait, what's the follow-up? So this reminds me of a skit done by Carol Burnett where she tries to open things and operate household items when every inanimate thing in the house seems to be conspiring against her. Hysterical, love it. Oh, thank you, Tugboat Mama. See, Tugboat Mama gets it. That's a funny comment as well. And then somebody is just triggered by the title of the cartoon. Excellent. Okay, yeah, so we're getting into the people are starting to notice and love and or hate this cartoon. Okay, September 30th. As the marker dried out, it would soon have to be any cap instead of the right cap. Any port in a storm. Oh, instead of... Oh, did I have a typo? Oh, yeah, this might have been one of the... a typo that I corrected. I can't remember instead of the right cap. I can't remember what my mistake was. But yeah, I think I had a typo in here. Or a weird grammar thing. And somebody corrected it, and I left their comment. It used to be able... Oh yeah, I can... So if I can flag this, and it might disappear, but it's fun to have all the grammar Nazis memorialized. All right. And October 2nd, 2008. This kind of carnage was known only to weekend free samples. Look at those little cheese cubes with toothpicks in them. And airport bathrooms. Gross. Ew, airport bathrooms. Yum, free samples. All right. October 7th. He wished his viscosity could do for his fragile ego what it did for delicate engine parts. That must have been like a motor oil commercial. Protects fragile engine parts. Wherever that came from. All right. October 9th. He wondered what could be so powerful that it was measured in 1/8 of a teaspoon. Uh-oh. We're going to get the answer to that question below in the comments, as usual. Nutmeg. Nothing. Quarter teaspoon size is the smallest. Nope. I have 1/8 of a teaspoon with my set of measuring cups. So do I. And there's plenty of spices that are powerful enough. Saffron and strong curry, to name 2. And I have measuring spoons for a dash, pinch, and others. Tried dried habanero pepper, nutmeg. Oh yeah, so somebody, twirling or not, somebody jumps in there with nothing, and then the answers come flying through. Nice. 1/8 of a teaspoon. Did I get that one? Yeah. All right. He somehow felt his potential was wasted as a paperweight. A cinder block. Who wouldn't love this? Oh, wow. I don't think I've ever seen this comment before. Who wouldn't love this comic? It's subtle in its special little way, but still shoots a spitwad right in the eyeball of life. Wow, that goes on the cover. Thank you, Fox Cole. Very nice. All right. Let's like the heck out of that and see what else there is. At least he has a job. I'm glad someone else is reading this quirky little comic. Yes, Chromosome was probably my only reader for a very long time. All right. Quirky little comic. Why I oughta. October 16th, 2008. He lacked the leadership skills to organize anything even approaching a rubber band ball. Is that still a thing? Like a way to store instead of like putting rubber bands in a box or whatever? So I think my mother had a rubber band ball in her desk drawer. So you just start. I don't know if you need a core of something. If you use like a ping pong ball or a golf ball or whatever, but you get you just wrap rubber bands around the center of something, and once you do it enough, you just have this ball that then you can pull them off of. I think that's a very old 1950s style organization for a desk drawer. But so I don't know if anybody knows what I'm even referring to with a rubber band ball. But it used to be a way to store rubber bands was just wrapping them around each other. I feel you, my rubber brother. Nice. October 21st, 2008. The two of them found surprisingly little to share. Tennis balls and aquariums. One held fish or tennis ball, I guess cans. One held fish, the other held tennis balls. The fan blade secession movement was a somewhat limited success. Secession. I've been extremely successful in my personal fan usage. Nice. Fan blade secession movement. I wonder what. I think I was having trouble with an electric fan. I've never been a big fan of secession anyway. All right. Yeah, maybe trying to replace I don't know. Oh, here, this is a very photoshopped. Yeah, second part. So I didn't draw or maybe I tried to draw the broken part of the wall and it looked terrible. So I just totally recreated it in Photoshop. And I also did a weird gradient fade on that shadow. So October 28th, they had been more than a couple. They had been a shelf. And then one bracket fell down and lost the board. And it's all over, folks. All right. Keep going. October 30th. They refused to believe they were involved in a lost cause. Oh, cosmetics jokes. Far Side wannabe. Ha ha ha. I'm just a Far Side wannabe. Actually, yeah, I don't think the tone. Yeah, I wasn't ever a huge Far Side fan, but maybe like if you try to do anything that's um, you know, about kind of like secret intention or weird life or whatever, um, that oops, people Far Side wannabe. Thank you. So, yeah, so yeah, that was the so yeah, Far Side wannabe is the big critique because people know so few cartoons. Like there are probably a whole generation of newspaper cartoons that were inspired by Far Side, like the tone of it, not the content. And so if you only know Garfield, Calvin and Hobbes and Far Side, yeah, basically you have to put everything in one of those categories. All right. November 4th. In a gas station restroom, sanitary became a relative term. Ew. With the little eyes and mouth on the dispenser are afraid it will bite them. Nice. Oh, I got some more. Yeah. Sometimes a grove of trees or even a bush is preferable. Preferable. Nice. Yep. And use your foot or the back of your hand to flush. Ugh. Digital frog. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't bring up public or gas station. Yeah, gas station restrooms in the U.S. are pretty terrifying because no one is paid enough to clean them, so they never get cleaned. All right, November 6th. So we'll finish out November. Sorry, this keeps popping up. He had always hoped his other half would be less critical. Yeah, so the idea of if you cut a grapefruit in half, then you have two halves of grapefruits with little faces. And even the grapefruit didn't like itself. That was, I guess, kind of the joke. I don't get it. I don't get it. If you send me an email and tell me what it meant. Okay. Okay. There's some lovely, yeah. So people that don't there's still people are still able to just kind of jump in uh, and read publicly and just say what the hell is this. So we still get those from time to time. At first read that more appropriately citric. At first I read that more appropriately as citrusical. Haha, that actually made me laugh out loud. Thank you. Love Harry Potter books. Oh, love Harry Potter books. All right. Yeah, 14 years ago. Yes. I'm liking comments from 14 years ago. People could have passed away that commented on my cartoon. In 14 years, there could be dead commenters actually getting likes, and they'll never know. Or actually, are you notified? Do notifications make it into the afterlife? If he could appreciate November 11th, appreciate in monetary value, then he could have, then he would have to increase in comedic value. If he could appreciate, or if he could not appreciate in monetary value, then he could appreciate. Increase in comedic value as the comedic value of owning something. Alan B doesn't get it. If he could not, I guess I should have emphasized the not because it's actually hard to read that, then he would have to increase in comedic value. So it's funny that you keep something that isn't worth anything, I think is the joke. His refusal to hold anything but blank discs led to an inevitable emptiness. Once they're recorded, they never come back. I've made 5 deliberate errors in the first post for our spelling. You're correcting punctuation, but you can't even spell correctly. Oof. This is so funny, I forgot to laugh. That's a great response to a cartoon. Like, okay. I made 5 deliberate errors. Okay, there we go. Oh, that's right. He corrected it. So 2 mistakes in this caption. Said, his refusal to hold anything but blank discs led to an inevitable emptiness. Oh, there should be a comma in there too. Oh, back in the days when everyone corrected everything. Now who has time? Oh, here's my Obama reference. Yeah, it's 2008. So he was a new flavor of cake that hoped to change birthdays for generations to come. You go, new cake. You right. Oh, somebody did say, is this an Obama reference? Yeah. but they deleted the comment. Yeah, it's like not there. Weird. All right, mashed potatoes. It was impossible for my mashed potatoes to provide enough comfort in a world so full of bastards. Those are pretty peaky mashed potatoes. Yes, but some are better than none. Yes, but they're a good start. You can try. Might help for a few, not all though. Mashed potatoes with butter. I feel better anyway. Nice. dark mashed potato humor. All right, I think we got a couple more. November 25th, the smell of burning leaves gave most books that creepy what's next feeling. Nice. Georgia, October until May or something like that. Okay, and where do they still burn leaves? Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that's true. I think that that's true. I think the laws maybe have changed. There are probably enough houses burnt down from people burning leaves that it may have disappeared. I just remember that growing up, but that was a long time ago. So maybe most cities have changed their laws because people do it irresponsibly. Yeah, but usually they just piled leaves up, usually like on the driveway or the gutter in the road, and just burnt leaves. All right, it's just a burning books joke. November 27th, 2008. It was now painfully obvious why he had been carrying a little straw glued to his back. This is even dated like the time that I wrote it, but those little pouches, the Capri Sun basically, those little pouches of juice you have to jam the straw into, and if you were holding it too hard when you jammed the straw into it, you squeezed everything. I took my 10-year-old nephew to a photo shoot with me, and he wanted to carry my camera bag. Okay. Wow, what a story. I won't read the whole thing. So painful indeed. Without dinner and a movie first. Nice. Yeah, I remember drinking those as a kid. Oh, Harry Potter books. Ha. Been lucky to have juice glasses, old mason jars with chipped edges. Oof. Yikes. Well, I'd rather drink from a chipped glass than have to carry that many books home from school. Oh, that's depressing. Yeah, I'm used to it. Wow. Yeah, I guess before iPads, everyone was carrying too many books. Okay, so we'll save December for next week. But December 2nd, he was told many measuring cups had converted to metric and were living relatively happy, normal lives. Converted to metric. Like a religious conversion. All right, this is so funny. I forgot to laugh. That'll be the. Oh yeah, this should be the title of the next collection. I was gonna call the 20th anniversary collection. The title I was thinking about was that definition of insanity. Doing the same thing and expecting different results. So I was just going to name the collection Expecting Different Results. So I've done the same cartoon for 20 years and nothing has changed. It's kind of dorky, but funny dorky. Dorky. Ha ha ha. This is so funny. Very good. I don't get it. That's the whole, wow, it's a whole range. So it's dorky, I don't get it, very good, and haha, this is so funny. That's very interesting, the range of reaction. All right, enough of that. The struggle is real. Nice. Yeah, so is a better title. So I Forgot to Laugh is a pretty, or maybe So Funny I Forgot to Laugh. I don't know. Okay, a cartoon. What the heck? So funny I forgot to laugh. Okay, Overbrewing. So the idea was like a caffeine competition, but it could be, yeah. So my first thought was overbrewing. The desperately. Uh, Tried to be as caffeinated as his coffee rival. This is a little too long. Maybe I don't need overbrewing. I think it needs, the point that the tea bag is still in there. Desperately tried or wanted desperately. Is caffeine spelled right? The overbrewing tea wanted desperately. I wanted desperately to be making it longer. To be as caffeinated as his coffee rival. I'm sure I'm going to get milligrams of caffeine per ounce references in the comments. The Go Comics comments. The overbrewing tea wanted desperately to be as caffeinated as his coffee rival. That sounds like I got stuck with some of that old that old thinking. Or struggled. Struggled is even funnier. It's even more dramatic. Struggled desperately to be as caffeinated as his. Yeah, so I don't get the same. I have to drink a ton of tea to get any sort of buzz. Like when I was a student, I would drink a whole pot of tea and still not, just to barely get that the jitters that a couple of cups of coffee would give you. So I never went too hard on tea drinking because I wanted the weird focus and kind of energy of caffeine to get to work. Yeah, because especially, I guess it's not so much. It's mostly in the morning. I've tried to drink like very high caffeine green tea and different things they have in Japan, and I don't know if it's a different in caffeine or what it is, but however caffeine is absorbed from coffee or the level of it or whatever just works so much better for me. And I guess the only thing that can rival that is energy drinks, because energy drinks are carbonated, and probably the combination of like extreme sugar and what other nonsense is in there has the same effect as coffee, but the calories are just insane. Yeah, it's not worth. I don't think it's worth that trade-off. Struggle desperately to be as caffeinated. Yeah, struggle desperately sounds more funny and making it much bigger than it is. I already wrote this one, kind of. He didn't hear much from the Broken Record these days. Broken Record never repeated himself. I guess if you already know the meaning of you sound like a broken record. Yeah, that must have been a reference to really old technology. Or just, oh no, I guess it meant a record with a skip in it. So yeah, because if a record has a deep enough scratch, it'll actually knock the stylus back. So you hear sometimes the same line, the same like word or two of a song over and over again, because it'll hit the scratch and jump back and then hit it and just kind of, keep hopping back. So that might be the broken record reference, because a physically broken record would do nothing. That's close enough. I mean, I think that's he didn't hear much from the broken record these days. Yeah, I'm really relying on the fact that broken record is a common. That saying is still common enough. We'll see. Yeah, I don't think anybody. on Go Comics at least. Anybody under 40 is reading this cartoon, or if they are, they're the ones that are saying this sucks, this doesn't make any sense. All right, let's see. Yeah, but that's the thing. I don't. I enjoy that. Like people that are my age or older enjoying my sense of humor, because that would be a curse if you are older. So like there's probably a lot of authors, especially like a lot of YA authors, those young adult authors, that if they really connect with their audience, then they're stuck. Like that's the voice, and that's where they need to make their money. So they need to write young and stupid their whole careers. Well, that was the thing. The creator of Winnie the Pooh, the original storybooks, A.A. Milne, I think, was he wanted to be a legitimate writer. I think he wrote like mysteries or adventure novels or whatever, but the book that he wrote for his kid was the thing that took off. So he had to write Winnie the Pooh for his whole life, and never got any attention or any respect for any other work he ever did. So he basically, because he made a book for his child, he got stuck writing it for the rest of his life. Or, if you wanted to get paid. All right, so he didn't much hear from from the Broken Record. So he didn't hear much from the Broken Record these days. Okay, an old iPod is listening to a Broken Record, and the overbrewing tea struggled desperately to be as caffeinated as his coffee rival. There we go. All right. Oh, good. Dude said, didn't DJs... used to purposely scratch records. Yeah, I remember, scratching records, making that sound of the kind of back and forth, because you can, like the amp can still be on, and the motor and the turntable can be off, and you can move, so that, and I think it was actually jumping grooves, like most of that sound of that like 80s and 90s scratching was, actually jumping grooves on a record, that real sharp. It definitely must have taken some practice to get that to actually do what it wanted to do. I mean, there must have been a record specifically for trashing with the needle. Or actually, no, it was like 80s and 90s DJs did that mid play. That's right, because they were it was and before there was digital anything to do samples and tracks and things. It was a way to add something to a song, because you could do it rhythmically, so add something to a song. So scratching was actually done live on a record that was actually being played. That's right. Yeah, dude, you're right. I totally forgot about that. It wasn't like a separate instrument. It was actually like live interaction with the track. Yeah, because before you could sample and play like on a synthesizer live, where you could sample live and do loops and things. That was like a way to kind of interact and repeat phrases from records. I can't think of the musical word. The choruses and things from records. Yeah, you could repeat them infinitely by spinning them back. All right. Yeah, that has got to just sound so archaic, because everyone is so used to the digital version of that. All right, I'll turn this off and see if it's less noisy. So sorry if you guys are hearing too much heater on this stream. It's just been too cold to go without. All right, so let me spell check, and then we will eat some jelly drink. Oh, it doesn't like over brewing, so maybe hyphen. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, it wants to be hyphened. Okay. Decaffeinated is spelled wrong. My name is spelled correctly. Okay. Yeah, I spelled decaffeinated wrong. Really? Oh, okay. And overbrewing will now get a hyphen. According to Adobe, I don't know where they get their dictionary though. But it catches the big stuff at least. Okay. Yeah, but it doesn't do grammar, so if I screw up the grammar, that can't be helped. You didn't hear much from the broken record these days. I'm glad I didn't forget the and the overbrewing tea struggled desperately to be as caffeinated as his coffee rival. I know that's going to start a fight in the Ego Comics comments section. If somebody's there with their the data on tea actually being more caffeinated than coffee. All right. Okay. And a little bit better. Sorry, I am making JPEGs as we speak. This is the most exciting part of the stream, what everyone tunes in for. Revert. Okay. Coffee or tea? Yeah, I drink definitely a lot more tea since I've been in Japan, but coffee just can't compete with coffee as far as like waking up in the morning and actually feeling. There's an optimism to the caffeine in coffee that tea doesn't have. Maybe because it like enters your bloodstream more slowly or something. But oh, interesting. Oh, interesting. I know. Yeah, some people don't like either don't like the taste of things or don't like the how it makes them feel. Because some people are very sensitive to being over caffeinated, so that jittery, like anxious feeling is super uncomfortable. All right. Okay, so let's switch over. Oh, yeah, convenience store. That's right. We have a convenience store. All right. That's nice. That means you're very self-motivated, unknown girl, because without coffee, I would do almost nothing. Oh, no. Well, our drink today is actually a drink now. It's a little bit melted. Oh, no, and it's keying out. I can't make it not key out. That's weird. The green is what's keying out. Oh, yeah, it's a green screen. Yeah. Usually sometimes it's yellow, like a golden yellow keys out as well. But this one's not. So this is Qoo. So Qoo is like, I've looked at a few of these before. I think more of the supplement. Well, this is a supplement one. It has vitamins. But this is, so something that happens in Japan very often in the winter is people get big cases of the little mandarin oranges, the little mikan, they call them here. Little tiny super sweet oranges, and they always have them out, and you sit at the heated kotatsu, which is like a low table with a little blanket kind of edge on it, and you put your legs under the kotatsu, and there's a heater, electric heat source under there, so very warm. You don't actually need to be bundled up. You can sit kind of with a blanket over your legs and the heat from under the table and sit and eat oranges. So this is kind of a replacement if you are, maybe some kids don't like the texture or the whatever that weird white stuff is from the skin of oranges. Some kids don't like the texture and don't eat many oranges, so this is kind of meant as a cute replacement for that vitamin C. So some kids eat so many oranges because they're very sweet. So some kids like them so much that they actually eat enough to make their skin orange temporarily. That sounds like Willy Wonka, but it's totally true here. I don't know how that works, but it's totally true. So this is Qoo, and I think Qoo is now made by the Coca-Cola company, or in Japan it's made by Coca-Cola. At least it shows up in the Coca-Cola vending machines. And yeah, you can recognize it with this little water drop goofy character. And there's several fruit flavors, but I think the reason that I don't think my daughter really ever drank this, the drink in the machines, is because they use artificial sugar. So they were worried that it was too many calories for kids or whatever. So they put fake sugar in it, and that's the last thing you want a kid to drink. There's not fake sugar in this because this is mostly just a vitamin C supplement. So it's meant to just deliver the vitamin C, but it does have like artificial colors and stuff. No preservatives. So for some reason, Japan is very anti-preservative, and 40% actual fruit juice. So there's 40% Mikan juice in here. So these jelly drinks always have this very strange. Oh, it's total. That's keying out too. I thought that was light enough green. This strange little cap, which is probably something that they like their pet bottles here that they recycle, because it always has this strange little astronaut food cap on it. Looks like it looks like an IV bag. I mean, basically these look like IV bags, and maybe the same manufacturer of IV bags makes these jelly drink things. But it's just a little cap that needs to have a little collar broken on it, and then there's the little jelly right inside. So it's probably the same way. I'm sure the same way that astronauts are eating on space stations and things. You just squeeze a bag through a nozzle into your mouth. Oh wow, yeah, that's very orange. It's not as sweet as I thought. So maybe they didn't artificially sweeten it. It's kind of a little sour, like orange juice. Mm, that's right. I know why. So if they're using orange juice in Japan, the interesting thing, orange juice is never as sweet and kind of light as orange juice in America, because I think they use the orange peel as well. So when they juice oranges, I think they're not peeled, so they use the whole orange. So the skin, I think, what they use for zest and cooking and stuff, that skin and the inner skin, probably seeds and whatever else, makes it a little more bitter. So Japanese orange juice is surprisingly bitter. It's not as, it's not like that refreshing orange juice, fresh squeezed orange juice in the US. So I think that's what's going on here. It's not as sweet. Hmm. Because Mikan, anyone's had those little mandarin oranges. Those are incredibly sweet. They're much sweeter than regular oranges. So you would think this drink would be crazy sweet. Yeah. Oh, and this also says that it can be frozen, so you can freeze this and then crush it and have it like a slushy kind of drink. A lot of ice cream. You could get some ice cream drinks in pouches like this, and you can tell this is meant for kids because it's a lot smaller. The usual, maybe 50% bigger. The usual kind of pouches for jelly drinks for diet and for desserts and snacks and stuff is usually a lot bigger. And that's another thing that they do here. A diet food that they use that has 0 calories, but it has some fiber in it. It's konyaku. So konyaku, I think, is from a plant, like a root or something. And they boil it down into kind of a vegetable jelly form. It doesn't have many calories, but it fills up your stomach. So if you're hungry, but you're trying to lose weight, a way to curb your appetite that they use in Japan is little pouches of this jelly that is, they can put a little flavor to it as long as it doesn't add any calories, but they have like a 0 calorie jelly snack that is just supposed to make you feel full, even if you haven't eaten anything. So it's really weird. Mm, 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 mm. So sorry, it's so keyed out. I should have guessed there'd be too much green on here. Mm. Yeah, it's not. It's definitely not as sweet. So maybe that would be surprising for kids, that, especially if they see something that looks like this and is intended to be a kid's drink. It doesn't. It's so keyed out. It doesn't have that kid's sweetness to it, because it's just, the vitamin C is probably mostly coming from the actual juice itself in here. But it's really easy. And this, like we were showing I had the cartoon about the Capri Sun, which was a pouch like this, but you had to actually pierce it with a sharpened, with a pointed straw. This, all you have to do is pop the cap off, and basically it's a straw built into it itself. So but always these look very medical for me. So it's not super, super fun for kids or anything, because it looks like a medical device. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, yogurt. That's a good idea. Yeah, why don't they do that here? I don't think they have yogurt in pouches in Japan. That's interesting, unknown girl. It seems like a very obvious. Yeah, they just have the cups, and sometimes a drink. So a drink in a carton, like or a cup with like one of those plastic film tops on them. That's interesting. Yeah, they don't have yogurt in pouches here. Interesting. I wonder why. Maybe nobody likes straight yogurt. Maybe everyone mixes yogurt with fruit and stuff. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. So it's Minute Maid. That's right. So Qoo is Minute Maid, which I think is Coca-Cola. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's Coca-Cola in Japan. So I'm not sure if that's connected, but I don't think they would ever, especially because the kids version has like aspartame or whatever the fake sugar is in it. I don't think they would ever bring this to the U.S. because it's strange for a kid's drink. It should be a little more natural than it is, but it's got like artificial colors and then also fake sugar. So that's kind of weirdly rare for Japan. But yeah, Qoo is kind of everywhere. So yeah, now I have all of my vitamin C for the day. And I didn't have to eat any oranges or peel any oranges. Yep. So yeah, pretty standard. So it's been sitting here for a few hours out of the fridge, so it's a little more liquid probably than it would be if I'd taken it right out of the fridge. It's a little more jelly and stiffer. So you have to sometimes squeeze a little bit harder when it's thicker. But it's mostly liquid now in here. But that is one of the. It's just an odd replacement. So it's obviously kids that don't like to either peel or the texture of orange sections. So they try to provide an alternative. So I could just see some little kid sucking on a pouch, sitting around a traditional Japanese winter table setting. But yeah, so it's okay. Definitely not as sweet as I thought, but definitely natural, 40%. So yeah, it's definitely actual fruit juice. And I think the reason that it's not so sweet is because they juice oranges whole in Japan. So you got a lot of extra stuff in there, but maybe also extra vitamins. All right. I think that's going to do it. Yeah, we're getting on 5. I've got to do some driving. So let me just upload while we're all still together here. Yeah, I wonder. I'll have to look next time. Now I'm so curious, Unknown Girl, because of the... that seems like a logical thing to put in one of those pouches in Japan. But they didn't do it. Very odd. Yeah, the other thing they have is I don't know if I've had that on stream or not before, but the kind of creamy, it's like soft serve ice cream in one of those pouches, but usually it's frozen pretty hard in the freezer, so you have to kind of crush it, like let the heat of your hands and the friction of crushing the pouch make the ice cream more drinkable. But that's pretty good. Those flavors are usually really good that are in the little ice cream pouches. But kind of like when you get to the bottom, I didn't finish this one, but that's the kind of frustrating thing. When you get to the bottom of one of these pouches, it's not very satisfying. You're just like, trying to get out the last little remnants of whatever you're drinking from this little pouch. And there's almost like a metallic, I don't know if you're tasting the packaging or whatever, but there's almost like a weird metallic taste to it. So it's like leaving a little bit in the bottom is probably the best thing to do, because trying to empty one of these pouches is a little bit of a miserable procedure. So I guess if you're starving in space, it's worth it. But I don't know, because I think these are the pouches are those metal plastic lined pouches, like they have that aluminum coating or whatever on the inside, so they're pretty hard to break. It takes considerable sharp utensils to get into them. All right, so we have uploaded this week's cartoon. All right, well, I think I'm gonna have to call it at this point. Yeah, I got about 5 minutes before I gotta get in the car. But thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out in the chat. I really appreciate you guys spending time, and I love the feedback. That helped a lot. I never would have the broken record idea was really good. I would have just talked about music is so different, it's not digital, and I think broken record is much funnier. So thank you, Unknown Girl, and thanks Dude for hanging out. And I know Hardy at the very beginning of the stream I had a hello from Hardly, so thank you, Hardly. Oh, and Bold Legend Gamer was in there at the beginning too. Sorry, I got distracted with my rambling. So thank you. Thanks, Bold, for being in there and stopping by. If you're still lurking about, and yeah, some other people pop in. So I appreciate that so much. And yeah, you guys are great. So abusecartoons.com is the website if you're just finding this for the first time. And there you can find a link to, and also in the description of this video, you can find a link to Go Comics. So gocomics.com/domestic abuse is this stream. And yeah, JC King was here. Oh, JC King, that was really good. He used to rant a lot before, but now he's just a broken record. That was a good one. I'm sorry, I haven't been yeah, getting through the chat as well. Yeah, that's good. I think I might have seen that. I can't remember why it didn't bring up. And K5. Oh, sorry. K5 stopped by. How are you doing? I missed a lot in the chat. Sorry, guys. Sad face on the fish tank. Yeah, I appreciate it so much. And if you want to support the cartoon and see more of it, patreon.com/abusecartoons. And thank you so much, Unknown Girl and John, for being patrons. Your support means a lot. That's good. That's good. Thank you, Unknown Girl. I can't remember. Is my memory actually getting that short term that I can't remember? Did I say anything? I definitely need. I'll need assistance eventually. That's crazy. People pointing things out. Yeah, that's probably going to be necessary. I'm sure. The older I get, the harder it's going to be. Like, what did I say? Who's here? So let's look forward to those those sad Twilight years. So take care, everybody, and we'll be back next week to do the same thing. And as always, I really appreciate your time hanging out. It makes the creation of those cartoons so much more fun, so much more interactive, and going back through the history of it is really fun too, because it's hard to really understand how far this has come. I mean, doing anything weekly for 20 years is pretty brutal. So thank you for being here with me. So take care, everyone, and see you next time. Goodbye.